I'm here for you, Noah. We are hot on the spot. What's good, everyone?
Okay, how's it
going? Welcome to the first episode of AESA Insight. I'm your host, Ty Sirakun, and I'm super excited to be here. Just before we get into introductions of our guests, I'd just like to tell you guys a little bit about what this podcast is. So me and my friend Andrew Tran had this podcast called Behind the Smash, and that was just a podcast dedicated to the Smash Bros community. But since joining up with AESA, we've built this show out to kind of cover all of the wonderful people within esports in Alberta and Canada. So really the intention is to highlight, the multitude of personalities from around our area. There's so many cool people that I got to meet just within the creation of AESA, including some of our guests here today. And I'm super excited to meet way more people in the future. So this isn't going to be a show that's limited to just one community or one game. It's going to be, whoever is in esports, which is really exciting. So, we're going to be talking to people from maybe the Splatoon community in the future or the Street Fighter community in the future. And definitely more people in the Smash community because I've met a bunch of them. They're all cool so far. Who knows? Maybe we'll find something out on a later episode.
Don't talk to Alphakins.
We'll talk about Alphakins later in the podcast for sure.
Oh man.
Anyways, let's introduce our guests. First and foremost, I have to apologize to my good friend Noah, aka Nurse here, because we announced him to be on the show like 2 times, and we canceled on him both times. So, really glad to have you here. Noah is a top Alberta Smash player, a commentator in Smash, a streamer, and also sometimes an artist and fashion influencer, as far as I understand. So,
yeah, man, that caught me off guard during the little trailer. I was reading my little titles and it said fashion influencer. I was like, cool, I'll take it.
You can't deny what you are, man.
Yeah, man.
Next up, we got Zeke, aka Ezekiel, aka @Zeke here. Zeke is a renowned coach for, well, I don't actually know what game specifically you coach. I know you do Smash for sure.
So my primary game is Super Smash Bros. The more recent titles being Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate. But I've also done a lot of coaching for Rivals of Aether, Overwatch, a little bit of Splatoon, and yeah.
Apparently my camera, I was like, I'm a little baby.
Oh yeah, you're hanging out.
I'm a little baby boy. Okay, that's good. So yeah, Zeke also streams and is a content creator, and I believe you also play from time to time. Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't compete nearly as much nowadays, but I do love playing video games and streaming myself playing video games that I'm okay at.
Mm-hmm. Funny enough, I met Zeke and Nurse kind of like at the same time at a tournament early this year. So look at how time goes on in a circle. Time repeats itself. And last but certainly not least, we got Tina, or at ShadowMisstep, who just joined AESA as our lead community social media person. Yep. She also does the social media for T1 Esports, which is pretty big. And we will find more out about these people through the show. It's not done yet, so we're not over yet.
Good. See you guys later. It's my time.
We're gonna jump right in. Hey, we're in the middle of Salt Mines. What's up? I'm super pumped about this event. I didn't realize coming into this event how many games and tournaments were going on all at once. I feel like my head is gonna pop off. I'm gonna be looking at so many different
Salt
screens.
events are always nuts.
Yeah, Salt Mines is definitely crazy for that. It's the experience you come to expect from these guys, though. Even when they were putting on offline events, they would have 10 plus games going on at the same time. So these guys definitely know how to do it big.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like Smash is in, which I'm gonna watch some of that. But I really want to tune into some of these lesser watched games in Alberta. Like I want to get into like some Splatoon. I don't know what's up with the competitive Splatoon scene, so I'm super curious about that. I want to see some of our Tekken stuff represented. Last what event was it? It was at the comic strip. There was a Tekken tournament that happened there too, and it was super fun to watch and just see everyone do the fight stick thing. You don't see too much in Smash. Also, there's like Mario Kart in this tournament.
Yep.
Yeah, man. People go hard on Mario Kart. I didn't know that was a thing until I talked to Bear.
Yeah.
Who's like a Mario Kart god.
Yeah. Mario Kart goes really hard on Twitch. It's like a little niche, but like people love that game and love.
They do,
like,
man. It's nuts.
Getting good at it.
Yeah, it's pretty dope seeing so many games represented and loved. Because really, it's like when I see an event like this, it's like a celebration of games, you know?
Yeah, man. What's cool about it too is you see a lot of crossover between games at events like this. Like I know a lot of Smash players are actually entering Valorant at this event.
Why not? You know, nothing coming. We might as well.
You have like Valorant teams composed of mostly like dog Smash players.
Oh no!
It'll be great content.
It's gonna be really fun to watch.
I want to see some Smash guys get shot in the head for sure.
Oh, dude, just tune in.
I want to see them get clicked or them click on others. How about that?
Yeah, just tune into Nurse's point and click adventure.
Yes.
Nurse, are you in Smash pools tomorrow?
I because of the timing of this, I only picked one thing that I might not be able to compete in anyway. But I'm just in Valorant actually with the boys.
I think I might be commentating a bit with Andrew on that. So.
Oh, you're gonna love my Jet.
Jet's the girl, man. That's my favorite too. Actually, I like Viper too, but
she's trash though, so you know.
Yeah, man. Pick a good character.
You know why I like Jet? Is because you don't have to think a lot about what you're doing with your abilities. You can just focus on clicking on guys.
That is true.
Jet ult is kind of like not fair, but
she's a solo queue character, you know.
That's facts.
So yeah, it's another event though. Coming back to Smash that is on Wi-Fi. I know that a lot of people have had a lot to say about Wi-Fi Smash. Nurse being one of them.
Couldn't be me.
Zeke, what do you think about the whole dynamic of tournaments being on Wi-Fi now for Smash specifically?
Oh, they're not fun.
I was wondering if he was gonna say it.
No. We're not gonna sugarcoat. No, they're not fun. It's something to do that if you take super not seriously, like you dissociate completely. It's a great time. It's so much fun. But if you are genuinely like trying online, you're gonna stress yourself out and you're not gonna have a good time. But it's something to do, you know. In the world that we live in right now, sometimes you just gotta sit and play some video game and turn your brain off, and like that's one of the ways to do it. So it's not the worst option. I can definitely say there are worse options.
I think one of the things about it is people miss the community and people miss playing the game, right? And so online tournaments are a way to connect with everyone still in a way and kind of get your tiny little fill of what once was.
Yeah.
But actually like seriously competing in them will ruin your soul unless you play like Snake. Like and even then it's not great. But I don't know, man. The last time I like seriously entered a online tournament, it's just like it's not good for you if you're trying really hard. It'll make you want to rip your hair out.
You think it like kind of does you a disservice for when offline events come back?
Not really. I think here's what I think about it. I think the players who are good offline and the people who are actually practicing despite online know what strategies work online because it's online and what strategies work because they're improving, right? A good example is like when I was playing in an online tournament, I couldn't tech Squirtle F-tilt jab blocks, which I can do 90% of the time offline. And so the guy started just spamming it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for him to do that, he's doing himself a disservice for offline because he's going to try and do that. It's not going to work.
Right.
But, for people who are, trying to, again, improve reaction time, even though that's a challenge online, and improve their coverage, improve their like true combos and stuff like that, those people will improve and will do better once offline comes. It's just about knowing what's working because it's Wi-Fi and what's working because you're getting better. I think Zeke probably feels the same way as far as that
it's
goes.
all about like the awareness aspect. Like if you're trying to like, cash out and make some money, you do the things that you get away with.
Yeah, you can be Chris.
Added latency. Yeah, no shame. No shame at all. But if you're trying to improve, the only thing that you're really going to get out of playing online is just learning situational awareness, which is just understanding what characters can do where, when, why, and how. And like that's it. And you can do that by playing, watching the game, playing it in training mode on your own. All those ways all work. And so playing a little bit online isn't the worst thing in the world for you. But if that's like your primary only thing you're doing, it will create a negative effect. But it's not like gonna ruin you if you play online.
I want to get back to some more Smash talk, but I know that Tina doesn't know anything about Smash.
We got the best Smash player in the world, and I'm just like, yes, haha, Wi-Fi.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, so as
Mick Leo?
as T1 Esports social rep,
oh no,
you're in charge of boosting up MK Leo, right?
Yeah, well, I've been trying. It's been a lot. It's been a bit of a learning curve for sure, because I came originally from G2, and that was a lot of like League of Legends, CS:GO, FPSs, and those sorts of games, like the big ones that aren't FGC. And so when I come and I go to T1, it's like our big names are Valorant, which is something I never really covered, and then Smash, which I've never covered. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, a bit of a mix up for you, hey?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mix up, but it's been fun, like just trying to learn. Like I'm very strong of the opinion of like to do socials and stuff. You don't have to play the game; it's helpful. Like I probably can't make memes about like haha, I don't know, like mechanics. I'll be honest, I don't know anything. But like
when I'm at events, I know everyone's laughing when someone says F Smash for sure.
I don't know, man. But like
F Smash, boom, got him.
But it is just learning and just learning the history, learning the players, like learning what's funny, what's familiar. Like, I think, there's certain things that just seem universal. Like, yeah, Steve comes out. Oh, there's free memes there, right? Stuff like that. So it's just taking the time to learn with your learn with your players and learn what works with them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you started doing the Smash socials at a good time when the Minecraft man comes out.
I was.
That's an easy one.
That was an easy one. That was free. That was free socials for the day.
So what was it like going from G2 to T1? Obviously, it was a big leap for the games, like you said. But what else kind of was different for you? Maybe it was different for your workflow, or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for a little bit of context, the team at G2 was quite big. But then again, a lot of it was predominantly European. So I was off in the middle of nowhere, Canada or Alberta. Yeah, just right here in Alberta, and you don't get a lot of like support that way, simply because everyone's 8 hours ahead of you. And working at T1 when everyone's either like, they're in the US, it's a lot easier to get like connections and those sorts of things. And at least working with the team in that respect is a lot easier. If I need a funny video meme, I don't need to sit in After Effects for like 2 hours trying to figure out how to like track one image onto something else, and I can just ask someone else to do it for me. And it's just nice to have that team behind you. Then again, I am also by myself this time instead of having a team, so a lot of it does fall on me in terms of the Western socials to try to get stuff done. But overall, it's been a fun experience, kind of learning. It's definitely different reputations. T1 or even SKT has that sort of legacy feeling, that feeling of like championships and wanting to win, like that sort of almost elegance to it. well, G2 is a bunch of clowns in a circus. And so trying to swap that tone has been fun. Like trying to figure out like the tone has been definitely interesting because obviously you get used to one way of doing things and then the fans are like, I don't like this. This doesn't sound like T1. It's like, well, I've done something wrong, and now you have to go back and keep reinventing yourself, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of like a living project, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
What's it like in general being in charge of social media? Because I kind of studied it for a little bit. I've done it here and there for some jobs, but I found it to be hard, like harder than most people think running social media is.
I mean, you just make the funny tweets and press post, right?
So
no,
never mind.
Yeah, no. More seriously though,
if you want to get in social media, it's just funny picture, boom.
Yeah, you just post funny memes all the time. But more seriously, it is definitely interesting because there's a reputation around social media, and especially esports social media, that's ultimately it comes off harder and easier than it seems. Because you do have, because some days it is just, okay, I gotta wake up. I have like these 3 posts. I have these 3 posts I can prep, and I just get them out, and I'm done for the day. Or there's some days that are like, we have 6 announcements. None of the videos are done. We'll let you know when they're done. How you prep the copy? You can prep everything to just like throw it out, right? Like that's fine. It's like, yep, got you. And sometimes you're up at 4 a.m. trying to cover Worlds Finals, and then you get 0-3'd by the Chinese team that no one expected to win Worlds, and then but it is that sort of thing of like. It is part of it is like being creative and having fun because you get to make tweets for an esports org, and it is better and easier than a minimum wage job.
Hey, that's a funny one. That was one of my questions to the Smash guys out there. I heard that streaming Ultimate is like super hard compared to minimum wage jobs. I heard that's like a toughie.
Someone who has recently worked a minimum wage job.
How much worse is your life streaming compared to someone who might have to go out in the rough world?
Okay, so here's my thing.
Yeah, just for context, Leffen said this, I think.
I want to try and like figure out what he was trying to get at.
I can tell you what he's trying to say.
And here's what I think it is. This was my take on it. Was that I think he's trying to get at that building an audience for yourself as a streamer and starting from nothing is probably harder than a minimum wage job. That's kind of ignorant of Leffen to say, because that's not really what he did.
Yeah.
Right? He was a Smash player first and kind of fell into an audience while streaming. He didn't build his streaming audience from literally nothing. So I don't know why he felt like he should have spoken on that. I do feel like, the hours you have to put in to build an audience as a streamer and the amount of time you have to put in talking to no one is probably as difficult or could be harder than a minimum wage job, especially with no reward in that regard. But once you achieve that sort of goal, it's easier for sure. It's just there's no doubt about it.
That's a good point though, because if you're getting money from it, then it's easier. But if you're not getting money from it, well, clearly it's harder because you can't eat food.
Well, and it's harder because there's either like no one to interact with, or you have to kind of make content with yourself, which is a lot harder than if you have an interactive chat or people who are watching that aren't like your brother, like you know what I mean. And so like in some regards, like I think if we add a little bit of context, he could be right, but it's a weird thing for him to say. And I think once you have these streamers making hundreds of thousands of dollars, to claim that it's more difficult than a minimum wage job is just ignorant. Like it's just
yeah. I definitely think he lost a few people on that one.
I think Zeke feels similarly to me, but maybe it's different.
He's saying a lot with his facial expressions, I feel.
Yeah. So, as someone that's worked a shitty minimum wage job, cleaning warehouses, working at a Wawa, all that fun stuff. No, No, streaming is not harder. There are a few people who do actually genuinely put in it's the things outside of just clicking and going live and playing the video game. All of the other stuff. It's the social media. It's the YouTube editing if you do it yourself. It's doing the studying on trends and like all that stuff. That's the hard part of the job. The streaming part, if you're taking care of your body, you're eating good, all that good stuff, the streaming part's the literal easiest part of what you're doing. Unless you have your own personal like mental struggles, which Leffen definitely does, and that's part of being a person. And so I think that's what he was speaking to is like his own personal struggles and like his whole internal thing of like Ultimate's trash, but I have to stream Ultimate every day, and it's like this is what you signed up for, bro. Like I don't know what to tell you, and like it's a privilege. He has a wonderful privilege that he can every day for the next probably 5 years of this game is that he can wake up, click go live for 8 hours, and he will pay the bills playing that game and complaining about it, and that is completely fine. But I understand why he's upset, but saying it's harder than a minimum wage job is very incorrect, especially in the US, which could also just be a perspective of his living in the UK. I don't know enough about their whole anything personally. So, God forbid, maybe he just had a really easy job or something. I don't know. but
like, even I worked at like a Dairy Queen for minimum wage for a long time. And it's like, man, like you are just, what are you talking? Like no one comes and yells in your face or like throws food at you because you're streaming. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you could argue that a lot of people yell in your face all the time when you're streaming, though.
Or like,
you could argue.
no one fails a breathalyzer test in the drive-through because you're streaming. Like these actually happened. Like,
Oh, no.
We're gonna need to break this out into a separate nurse Dairy Queen.
Oh, dude, the amount of ridiculous work stories I have from Dairy Queen. I worked as an assistant manager at a trampoline park.
Oh, that one sounds
the craziest job I think I'll ever have. It was insane. And then I installed blinds, and what you see in people's houses is not like, it's just, man.
Just a quick aside, if Leffen is out there, I know he's in the chat. Leffen, it's okay, man. We love you. We're just giving you a hard time. We're just busting your balls. It's all right, Leffen. Don't worry about it. Leffen's a big fan of AESA Insight. He actually,
of course, yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah. How could he not be? So Zeke, I want to get into some of your coaching experience because, from what I understand, you're the world famous esports coach.
Yeah. I can feel this button.
Maybe he's not. I don't know.
This has all been an elaborate ruse. I'm sorry, guys.
I know you've coached some high-profile Ultimate players from like Chicago. And
so I've coached a lot of players over the past 2 Smash games. Most prominently known players being Cosmos and Tweak are like my 2 really big players that I've worked with.
Wow.
Tweak being the second best player in the world now, and also now has an amazing coach on TSM, who's another great friend of ours, Charles. And Cosmos, one of the largest Smash streamers, and was one of the best Smash players of all time, going from 4 into Ultimate as well. He's been on the rankings, I think, since the game has released, in the top 20 or right around there, just about the entire time. But yeah, those are like the really big ones. Over the course of the past 2 games, we have the Panda Global rankings, which is our like top 50 world rankings. And I've coached 20 plus different players on and off who have been ranked, at least at once or twice at a time. And some of the more recent names, a great example of like 2 players who are really up and coming that I work with and have worked with quite actively over the past like year or so, have been Raven King, who's an up-and-coming player from Chicago, who just before quarantine popped off really hard at Frostbite, as well as another friend of ours, Toast, who did very well at Frostbite as well, are 2 really amazing up-and-coming players that I'm really excited to see how they do going forward. Well, and Mr. Nurse over here, too, is the biggest player I've ever worked with, though.
Alberta's very own.
I heard he worked with Nurse. You should probably mention that. It's a pretty big deal.
So how does one guide me through the journey? How does one become a coach for some of the best players in Smash?
I mean, I guess to go all the way back, and I'll not sit and talk for 30 minutes about this, but originally, I was trying to become a Halo player back in high school. I was doing lots of game battles. I was being scouted for MLG teams and stuff like that when I was in high school. At the time, they weren't allowing anyone under 18 to be on any of the teams officially, but I was confirmed that I was being scouted by a few different people.
Dang.
And at that time, though, I completely shattered my wrist in a bad fall and was basically in a brace for about 13 to 14 months, and tried to learn how to play with one hand, all that fun stuff. And when I afterwards, I was like, "Oh, this doesn't really feel right anymore." The way I played was called double claw, where you take a controller and you hold it kind of like this, and I can't do that anymore with my left hand. So
Wow,
I didn't really know how to play the
completely
game
changed
anymore.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and so what I did,
That sucks. Oh my God, I'm so
because
sorry.
of the states. Oh, it's okay.
I could not
completely fine with
imagine.
it. But basically, because the states has horrible healthcare, I had to do my own physical therapy, I suppose, in trying to relearn how to use my left hand. And in doing so, I learned fighting games. I would go to my local arcade. I would play lots of Third Strike, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and 3, and Smash Bros. Smash was a game I grew up playing all the time. I played every single one of the titles, and up until that time, around like Brawl, Project M was getting quite large. I started attending local tournaments over in the U.S. I was growing up in New Jersey at the time, and New Jersey was like Smash heaven. All the best players of Super Smash Brothers Brawl all lived there, and so I was very lucky to meet lots of them and make friends with lots of them and learn from a lot of them. Um, Out of sheer luck, genuinely, there was nothing better than that. I wasn't some like prodigy player who did really good. No, I was just some trash player that showed up at locals and made friends with people. That was really it.
See, it could be you. It could be any one of us.
Yeah,
Who's the
yeah.
next Zeke.
But during Smash 4 on Wii U, to kind of jump ahead a little bit, I was trying genuinely very hard to be good at the game and was very close to getting ranked in a couple different states. And eventually, at one of the major tournaments, I was about to get out of pools and my hand just seized and I couldn't move my hand. And I was like, this isn't going to work. There's no, unfortunately, I have looked, there is nothing I can really do for my wrist, surgery wise or anything like that. It's just kind of the way it was. And after 8 hours of playing in a tournament where I can't stop or leave, it was just too much. And so I was out, I lost, and I was like, I have to find something new to do.
Dang.
And it kind of hit me that I was really blessed and lucky to have all these amazing players sit down and teach me. And especially for anyone that's ever played fighting games, that is not normal. Most times people will be like, here's some half-assed advice, just garbage meaning nothing, and like figure it out, right? They want you to suffer like they did to learn how to do it, which is I get it, but I don't think that's fair. And in today's modern world, it doesn't need to be that way. What we have are a lot of really great resources to learn through free means online, or people that are willing to sit down with you, make sure that you get it. And that inspired me. So I sat down and started studying a lot of stuff through teaching, psychology, sports psychology on my own. I never went to college, never did any of that stuff. It was too expensive. And just kind of figured it out and started working with people. And lo and behold, I found the diamond in the rough Cosmos before he was a big top player boy. He's just some kid from Texas and got to teach him, and everything kind of blew up from there.
Now he's the best Inkling.
Yeah, he was the best Inkling for quite a while.
Right? Yeah.
He was the best Inkling, and then he was also the best Corrin in Smash 4.
By like a country mile for sure. Yeah.
I was just kind of thinking of how this script would go in my head. I'm gonna write you a script, and we're gonna get a biopic made of you, because that's an engaging story, man.
Oh, I didn't even tell you the sad parts. It's okay.
Wow. Okay, we'll talk later. We'll get MGM or Lionsgate involved or something.
Where are you getting to play you?
Yeah.
He's gonna say,
dude, I hope it's Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jake Gyllenhaal.
I can see you being a Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, a little bit crazy. Works out.
That's so funny.
So Tina, I heard that you have something to do with Hearthstone. So we had. I didn't have a lot of time to do research on your background because a little behind the scenes. Hey, this is an AESA behind the scenes moment. We actually had another guest who had to drop out due to an emergency. So Tina's hot off the block we're hot off the block with Tina.
It's
Okay.
10 p.m. and it's like, hey, can you come? It's like, okay, sure.
So
But
Tina gave me a list of like 3 things, and Hearthstone was on that list. And
Yeah.
I was excited because I used to be way into Hearthstone like a few
Yeah.
years ago before I realized I can't spend $80 every 3 months.
Oh yeah, rude. But yeah, Hearthstone. That was kind of actually how I first got into esports, and kind of going off like that idea of like a lot of things really just luck. I found esports. I stumbled into the right communities at the right time. I did a lot of moderation, and one of the guys I was helping with streaming at the time, Radu, actually worked for G2. And when I got the job application, when I saw the job app posting, I sent him an email, go, hey, can you get me a reference? Can you be my reference because you work there? And so I get an interview and I get an offer a couple months later. So it is just kind of getting to know people and stuff like that. But yeah, I did a lot of Hearthstone stuff for a while. Ran meme accounts, did a lot of kind of helping on the side where I could. That was kind of the main experience I had with Hearthstone. It was a good game. I'm not gonna call it a good game or an esports scene now. I hope no one from Blizzard is watching. I hope no one from Blizzard is watching this,
They're
but
also big fans of the podcast.
obviously, yeah. You know,
I can't wait for the show.
yeah, it's definitely really interesting because it's not really a game a lot of people expect to have like an esports scene. And it's definitely not something people expect to like be your introduction to esports. I think most people think, like Worlds, CS:GO majors, stuff like that. But it's like, no, card game.
It's actually very engaging for esports. I used to love watching it, just eating breakfast in the morning. There's something peaceful about it. It's like watching chess players, you know what I mean? Except the chess pieces like fight each other and blow up.
And they say words at each other, and it's very yeah.
I liked playing Hunter because you just hit them as much as possible. That's the only strat.
Space Hunter.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm surrounded by plebeians.
I also play a Hunter in WoW, but that's so no flame in chat, please. Thanks. But yeah,
okay.
Did you go to
Hunter's the coolest deck they ever made.
I love me some Hunter. Did you ever go to any of the Hearthstone meetups in Edmonton? 1 or 2, and they're so much fun because the community, everyone's kind of on their phone or laptop, and unlike a fighting game meetup, there isn't people popping off and stuff like that. It's a lot of almost like coffee talk, like, yes, very good play. Well,
does no one pop off for Hearthstone wins?
Okay, I watched like the competitive scene like religiously for years. No, they just get up, they just kind of nod, they shake hands. Like, yeah,
it's like
that's so lame. I want to see someone who lose it.
I haven't seen any pop-offs. It makes me sad.
No,
I think the only person. I mean, he doesn't.
Was the one who would pop off. No, not anymore. I mean, back in the day, he was the one who would pop off. Nobody else would though.
Yeah, I mean, chair just like fly back. And...
I remember there was this guy in Grandmasters. His name was Tyler. He'd like do like these weird pop-offs, like with his mother or whatever. Like he'd do like weird, like he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna get my mom to dab," but that was like a thing, and like you could break that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's that.
On the stream if someone's mom did a dab for sure. Yeah, Disguised Toast was big. He got his start in Hearthstone too.
Yep, he did.
He cashed out.
Punished by Blizzard.
Yeah, he doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, he's Among Us man now.
Yeah. He's Facebook Among Us man. Even better.
He is also Facebook Among Us man. I forgot about that.
Double up, man.
Never forget that piece.
But same thing for both Tina and Zeke. It seems like if you guys want to get in, anyone watching want to get into esports communities or get a job or start some sort of career in games, it's just, hanging out at events and meeting people and being open to new things. So there's that.
I mean, it's like any job. Like in the end, it's like I hate to break it to y'all, but you do have to network. That's kind of the big thing.
Yeah.
Like it is just.
You also have
networking.
to work. Don't forget that part.
It's also work.
It is work.
It's volunteer and it's networking.
That's a good point. A lot of people think game dream jobs are just playing games and that's it, as if you were relaxing after school or relaxing after work and just playing games and earning money off that. But it's streaming specifically is one of those kind of sleeper hard things, not as hard as a minimum wage job. Gobs in chat, and I have talked about that a little bit. I've talked about it with some other streamers, and it's hard to like be on, Imagine going to a party or something, right? And having to be on for everyone and be this other kind of personality. But then you're doing that at home, doing the thing that you love to do. So it's hard to kind of build that relationship with yourself and your audience, right? You've been doing a lot of streaming lately, Nurse. How's that going for you?
I was during the summer. Now I'm getting slammed by school, but during the summer, I was doing it 4 or 5 times a week, which it was good, man. And I think one of the best parts about streaming for me was getting to connect with people that I missed. You know what I mean? And I think that's what other people were liking about it too, was because I wasn't able to see everyone, and people aren't able to come over. While I'm streaming, we're able to have this, common ground, and I'm able to catch up with people. So, if someone pops in the chat, be like, "Oh, how you been doing? Like, what you been up to this summer?" and stuff like that. And I think that was, for me, the best part of streaming. And the support I got from everyone was super awesome. And I was super happy to do it, and everyone was super great about that. Unfortunately, I have a billion hours of school now, so it's been less often.
I feel you. What are you studying now?
I'm in forensic psychology.
Whoa, damn.
Yeah, so exciting stuff.
I'm not gonna ask you how school is going. Don't worry, man.
As good as you think it is.
I did see that you casted for Get On My Level though. How was that?
It was good, man. And
pretty big
event.
It's
been awesome. I've been very blessed to have a lot of opportunities to cast over the summer and kind of early September and stuff like that, where people know me for casting within Canada. But kind of extending my reach beyond that has been a bit of a struggle, because our biggest event by far is GOML. And while I do cast at GOML, that's not enough to kind of put my name in the hat for a lot of these big US events. Yeah. So what's been really great is, because of this online format, events that I've casted have brought in other casters from all over the world, and I've been able to connect with these people, and kind of get my name out there and make sure different casters know who I am. So even though I'm not able to have this big resume of US events, now that I've casted with these people, they know who I am. I'm able to extend my reach a little bit more. So that's been awesome.
Yeah, it's like kind of that first foot through the door, hey?
Yeah. And again, like I have to shout out GOML and the Alberta Smash crews, and especially the UBC guys who always have me on for top 16 and top 8. Those guys have been my lifeblood for a little while, so I gotta throw love to those guys. SKL as well, love those guys very dearly. So I'm doing what I can as far as big Canadian events goes, and as far as Western Canada, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a big Western Canada event that I'm not a part of at some point. But getting that outreach beyond us has been a little bit of a challenge. But I think we're making our way downtown.
Making our way downtown. The funniest way to punctuate. You put that song in everyone's head.
Yeah, I did, man.
Are you thinking of dabbling into some Valorant casting, or how?
I've done a little bit, actually.
Yeah,
here and there, just for little baby things.
Baby events. Babies play the game.
Yeah, just for toddlers.
I've
been watching. No, they're called Smashers.
Yeah. I've done a little bit. I wouldn't mind doing more. And again, like I said, I've been so slammed with school since it started. Especially this week, I have 3 midterms next week, like on the same day. So we're living our best.
Like that.
We're living our best life right now. But once I have a little bit more time and I'm able to kind of focus on that again, I would like to branch out into Valorant. It's a game I enjoy playing, and it's a game I have fun casting, despite it being a very different experience from Smash, and a lot less, constant action, but a lot more theory crafting and I feel like game knowledge that people want you to have associated with it. So
I'm sure there's lots of transferable skills just being comfortable in a commentator seat.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where I feel like I want to be better than just that, because I can get on the mic for any game and just talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't play Tekken, but if I had to commentate a Tekken tournament, I could get excited.
God forbid.
And start talking about moves that looked broken. Like you know what I mean? Like, I could do that. Like, and you know, there's those transferable skills, but for my type of commentary and my kind of like brand that I want to associate, I want to be more than that. So with Valorant, I've been putting a lot of effort into actually learning the game, so that while we can get excited about those big moments that happen, I'm also providing a good experience for people and a well-informed experience for people, because I don't want to be saying a lot of nothing the whole time, and I feel like that's a trap that some even top casters get stuck in, and people who are good at the game notice.
Yeah,
is what I'll say, especially with Smash. People notice when you know what you're talking about, and when you're just like, that was exciting, he died. Like,
that's me when I commentate. Yeah, for Valorant, there's a ton to learn for those kind of insightful strategic moments in between the kills and in between the encounters. Like,
there's so much, as especially with 6 people.
Learning some of those weird angles that you can throw smokes at, or how to flash properly, or angles that you can approach from to kind of get the jump on someone. There's like a lot. You can watch.
Yeah, man. There's a ton to know. There's a ton to know.
So yeah, tons of stuff to learn in that. Zeke, I know you come from an FPS background. You're talking about your Halo days. Have you been playing a lot of Valorant?
So I was a CS 1.6 guy. I played a lot of that in high school. I was not a CS:GO guy at all. I tried it when it launched. I gave it another try a couple years later when they reworked the guns. Wasn't really my thing. I played a good maybe 30, 40 hours of Valorant, and I was like, it's all right. I have fun with it. I don't play anymore. When it comes to like coaching those games, I primarily focus on communications-based coaching and teaching people how to shot call and stuff. I was a shot caller. I'm not the guy who frags out. I'm the guy who says, "There's the guy, shoot the guy."
So is a shot caller someone who kind of calls a strategy?
They call the strategy, and they are the primary communicator of information. So in a game like Valorant, information is the most important aspect, where obviously I can't shot call for everything, but I'm the one whose job would be to look at the map as much as possible, and would have the least responsibility on like sightlines, for example.
Yeah, like I think they call it in-game leader for Valorant. I don't know.
Yeah,
IGL. Yeah,
IGL.
Damn, it sounds cool.
And a lot of those guys
put that on my card.
Aren't the biggest fraggers, and again, like Zeke said, it's not their job to be. But some of those big teams have a guy who does both, and it's just like it's insane to watch. Like, if you watch Shazam just jet off while looking at the mini map, it's like, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing?
I just go like this, dude, and he's shooting. Can't do that. Can't do that. I wasn't born for that.
I mean, I think that's definitely like the movement in terms of recent esports. It's that pull of like, you have to not only mechanically capable, but you have to be intelligent. I don't think there is a space for no offense, like people like High anymore, who might not have been like mechanically strong, but were very, very intelligent. Essentially puppeting his players around the map. Like, that's not possible anymore. You need to be able to clutch or frag out when necessary.
I think those players are moving to a coaching role. I think the players are moving to a coaching role where, because and I don't want to say that like this wasn't a thing before, but as esports get bigger, extra people become more essential, like coaching, Some teams are hiring psychologists, stuff like that. Like, these weren't a thing originally, and so those players who are smart and have a lot of game sense are able to find a niche outside of the actual team because they can afford to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it makes room for these people who are not only smart but also mechanically talented. And every now and again you see someone who is just a monkey but can never miss. So
Yeah,
He's
the
very
biggest
long.
thing
You're trying to
too-
teach him language.
yeah, that's why he's there.
The
lot of
biggest thing
people
too with games nowadays is that like getting mechanically good at most of these modern esports games
Mhm.
is not hard. It's just literally sitting down and grinding it out in that aspect. You've seen 100,000 aim trainer videos. That's literally what it is. Wake up, aim trainer, play the game, learn the things you're supposed to look at and the call outs and stuff like that and go through that. But the other side of like being like intelligent and being able to communicate and stuff like that, you have to have both because the entry level for the game is so easy now that what it is just spending the time grinding and improving and then learning how to work with your team as a team essentially. And that's like the teams that do that are the ones who perform the best. And even outside of like Valorant, but like League of Legends has always had that like weird struggle where like some seasons the game's really, really hard and some seasons it's not. And it really depends on like the balance of that month, A great example would be where like outside influence really mattered. What was it? I think it was Dignitas where they hired a sports psychologist and then like went like 7-1 after that, after losing their first game and reworked their whole coaching staff right after that. Like that shows why that plays such an important role in any game. And I imagine it'll really hit Valorant and like Overwatch over the next year or so.
What
I
does
want
a
to
sports psychologist kind of do for a team? Obviously, it's good to, talk to someone and kind of unplug some things that could be mentally blocking you. But as a coach, what would that give a player?
So the reality is that most esports coaches don't have a psychology background. They're not professionally trained, myself included. I can't teach you how to deal with mental turmoil or anything. I can give you basic coping mechanisms, but these guys will be able to sit down and help you understand why you feel X reason and what you can do about it and stuff like that. Because that's really the hardest thing is like what you need to be able to do in the moment in like a very serious event is when something bad happens that you don't just crumble. Because that's what happens to all these great teams and great players is that they have that one bad day. And if they have that bad day, it just spirals. And being able to teach them how to not spiral, that's the sports psychologist's number one job, as well as like communication or healthy communication is what I'll call it. Because, with the age range being somewhere between 16 and 25 for most players, some people are young and ignorant and mean and stupid and they don't realize it. And they have to learn how not to be that way because, again, especially in these team games, that's the most important thing is being able to tell your teammate, hey, you're doing this thing wrong and not, hey, you're trash because everyone likes to tell people they're trash.
A big help just for me when I play competitive games and teams as well is when you do something good or when someone else does something good and you just say, yo, that was sick. That will bring him up like 5 more kills. You tell your teammate
Positive reinforcement, dude.
Yeah, man. And I think it's interesting because I'm kind of going into my third year of psychology, and I've been taking in a lot of this, kind of sports psychology stuff, and seeing parallels between what you can do to help people compete better and feel better about competing, and have a healthier mindset, and even there's things you can do with psychology to help more effective practice. And I'm actually doing an experiment on environmental cues and effective practice. Cool. So, stuff like that. It's so interesting. It's so interesting to see what you can do. And I think, a long time ago, people realized, sports psychologists, they help. That there's a reason they exist. There's a reason that these big teams, for any sport, are willing to pay for this sort of thing. It's because it makes a difference. You get your players to a new level of competition, even just a new level of consistency that they might not have seen before. And so, like I said, as esports is getting bigger and, we're getting coaches, we're getting this, we're getting that, sports psychologists, and specifically someone who will specialize in esports psychology and, a smaller team dynamic and things like that, they're going to start trickling in and they're going to start making a difference. And you're going to see these teams who, crumbled under pressure before, come out a little bit stronger, a little bit more consistently. And it's these little things that make a difference. And I think, it's so interesting that we might have a group of psychologists kind of in the making that are taking note of this stuff. Because, I know I have this big doc on my phone. Whenever we talk about something, I'm like, could that be applied to, a training regimen, a practice regimen? And, I think Zeke sells himself short a little bit by saying he's not a trained psychologist, because he's not. But there's a lot of things that Zeke does, and the way he interacts with people he coaches and stuff like that have parallels with humanistic and cognitive psychology, and have parallels with theories of positive regard and and stuff like that. And so even though Zeke might not be doing it on purpose or not like explicitly doing it, Zeke is helping in that way at least a little bit, psychologically, and I think inherently that's a part of his job.
Yeah. AESA has a partner, Mind Buffs, who are actually sports and counseling psychologists. So we're really pumped to kind of have that incorporated into the association as well. I think what the esports or the AESA, Alberta Esports Association, kind of allows us to have these kind of experts in different areas, like QT, with her background, helping build out our kind of code of conduct and bringing all these things together so that we can kind of holistically view esports as it grows.
Yeah.
So hey, Zeke and Nurse combo coaching psychologist. I see a business op.
Maybe one day.
Hey,
Maybe one
let's
day.
go.
One day.
So when's that podcast coming, Nurse?
The ZSS podcast.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna get Exodia on and just roast him a bunch, or what? What's the plan?
No, we can't have him on. What I'm gonna do?
No, he's not allowed.
No, he's not allowed on. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a bunch of screen caps of dumb stuff he's told me, and just throw it in like a slideshow of ignorance.
So it's just a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, it's gonna be mostly him and Chris. Just
It's a case study. It's a case
Yeah,
study.
it's a case
There you
study
go. There you go.
of how Zero Suit Samus mains literally are not all there because
he's throwing down the gauntlet now.
yeah, it's just they dissociate from their privilege by assuming everyone else has it, and
From their natural talent.
yeah.
Oh yeah, natural. Oh, that's a cursed word. Don't say that.
Oh man, spacing my -2 disjoint that loses to nothing is so challenging. I really have a hard time doing that. Oh man, these guys are goobers. I love them, but they're goobers. Maybe it'll come one day. I know Alfkins would be down to make it happen because he feels a burning passion as much as I do.
Oh, I know. He has some choice words to say. Yeah,
I don't know if
you guys watching clips of ZSS and being like, "Oh no!"
That's exactly what happens. You're correct.
Oh, I don't know if you saw
I've seen it.
the last online tournament I commentated. This was the Gomwall thing, where Alfkins was playing against Exodia, and I was on commentary, and Exodia killed Alfkins at 50, 54, and 72 with flip kick, and I was on commentary. The first time I was just like, oh. The second time I was like, no way. The third time I was out of my chair. I was gone. Like, no way he got hit with it again. Just like the hardest finesse of all time. And I could feel, even though he was in a different part of the city, I could feel his rage from my home because I felt it too.
Yeah, I am not good enough to face someone like Exodia, who is, I believe, the top ranked in Alberta in Smash.
Yeah, he's one right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Long reigning champ. Very nice hair.
He does have nice hair.
Very nice hair.
So I've never actually experienced it other than online ZSS, which I feel like I just put down my controller because if they're choosing to play ZSS online, they're on a different wavelength than me already. You know what I mean? You've already defeated me just with your character choice because I don't even know what that character does or is.
It's not much more fun offline. It's just, I'll tell you that. It's a little more fun, but not a lot.
I would say to all those who are disenfranchised from ZSS matchups, just kind of practice more, and that's it. So.
Just be better.
Well, here, you want to know what
you get A, practice.
You want to know a messed up stat?
Dodge. I don't know.
I have a really messed up stat for you. This is not cool. So,
oh my!
They released a top 200 players in North America list, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. On that top 200 players list, there are 3 players in the top 200 that solo main Zero Suit Samus. All right. 2 out of 3 of them live in Alberta. That's not okay. Leave. What are the chances?
You're not welcome here.
We have 3 out of 200 people, and 2 of them are here. Just come on, guys.
I'm not aware of the whole Smash Ultimate Canada picture, but is that Alberta's reputation? Then is that we got ZSS guys?
Yeah, we have those 2, and we have Alphakins, and then we have the legendary Nurse.
Yeah, people just know me for not playing a character.
Well, you're a fashion influencer, so they probably come just to check you out.
Yeah. Lifestyle guru, you know?
Yeah.
Lifestyle guru.
Could you I don't know if this is too much to ask you guys, but could you give me a rundown of what the stereotypes are for each province then when it comes to Smash Ultimate?
Stereotype? I don't know if there's
is there
stereotypes.
We're the ZSS province. What's BC known for?
BC's
Ice Climber?
Big D.
Known for Big D. Big D and now kind of Lemon and Ouch. They're coming through in a way. Landon for a lot of Smash 4.
Yeah.
Locust for the Smash 4. That was a time. That was a time.
Yeah.
Alberta's always been kind of low key. Because we don't travel a lot, especially Exodia never goes anywhere. So despite being very good, and he would place well elsewhere. Saskatchewan and Manitoba, no one really knows who they are other than Strike.
Strike, gotta love Strike.
Who's the boy? Yeah, Strike's the homie. And then people know people assume Ontario and Quebec is all of Canada. Is what it is.
Is it not?
Yeah. It's
I think Canadians.
It's not even Ontario, dude. It's just Toronto. What are you talking about?
Yeah, one of the funniest things is when people were oh yeah, Locust probably has a lot of Terry experience because he played riddles or stupid stuff like that where they're across the country. We hear funny stuff like that, or Supergirl Kells probably knows how to fight ice climbers because Big D's right across the pond.
I mean, it's an interesting misconception of kind of Canada.
We got a Manitoba player in the chat.
Ooh, nice.
You gotta love the prairies, man. You gotta love the prairies. Just people.
No one knows we exist, but they're great.
People don't know us. People don't know
I didn't
us.
know till I moved here.
That's what I mean. You knew. Well, you knew me before you moved here.
No, so. I know.
We don't get no respect out here in the prairies.
I mean, it's
this guy.
It's
unbelievable.
It's actually interesting to see the perceptions of Canada. It's it is just for a lot of people. It's what Vancouver and Toronto, and maybe if they are cultured and intellectual, they'll know Quebec. But
yeah,
cultured and intellectual. Ah, yes, there are French people up there. I'm aware. But it is interesting to see kind of how a lot of the esports influence is really central to those kind of few cities. And I don't know about the US. I don't know how that works, but it seems a little bit more widespread there in terms of trying to find the right word.
Where you can be and still have
influence.
Awareness,
I guess.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a thing, and that's part of the reason I'm so excited about AESA and stuff SKL and the the UBCEA guys, where they're forcing themselves to be big. You know what I mean? They're forcing themselves to do it. We're forcing ourselves to do it. AESA's AESA is like a thing now. Everyone's connected. Everyone's working together to make big things happen despite where we are. UBCAA. The Battle of BC tournaments are getting big, man. And, they're having stuff like Play with Heart, which was for charity, where they raised a ton of money, and these guys are going hard. And then you have SKL putting on not just Smash events, but just esports events in general. And for some little dudes out of Saskatchewan, they're not doing so bad.
Man, us Western Canadians, as always, gotta kind of pull ourselves up here. It is nice and endearing to see all the grassroots stuff. Like AESA is a grassroots organization, just straight up, and that's cool. That we don't need all that big company, big organization stuff they got down in the States. We got our own thing going on.
Yeah, man, I think it's sweet. I got to give shout outs to the whole AESA team, and especially like Victor, who's been here since day one.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy just does not know when to quit. Like,
give up already.
Yeah, like Victor, stop. Like, do something else. Like, you're busy, man. Like, what are you doing?
You're busy.
I'm out here doing like 5 classes. Meanwhile, Victor's like building the train and starting AESA, running Anime-thon, and whatever the hell else he does.
And we got Extra Life coming up soon.
Yeah, Extra Life has free time. Just like, what do you do? Like, where's the
the breathing part?
Yeah. Do you eat in the middle of the day, or you just doing other stuff? Like,
he doesn't eat. And he doesn't blink, and he doesn't, like you said, breathe. So
I wore the Haikyuu jacket for Victor. I know he's a big fan. The new season's on. If you haven't watched Haikyuu, you need to watch it. So
yeah, I'm guilty. Sorry,
Victor will tell you to watch it. I'll tell you to watch it. It's my favorite anime.
I feel like I'm going to be ousted from the organization if I don't watch Haikyuu soon.
Yeah, everyone needs to watch it, especially if you're a competitor or have any association with competitive, games, sports, anything. Haikyuu will definitely hit a note with you. And that's part of what's so good about it. So it's a suggestion from the heart.
I love it, your mindset. So I want to switch gears a little bit, and I think Tina, you're doing another panel later today, right?
Yeah. I believe I'm at a panel at around 5 p.m. It's just gonna be talking about like women in esports and that sort of thing, like what's it like in our experiences. So if you guys are interested, feel free to pop in. I'm sure we'll have lots of fun takes for y'all.
Cool. Yeah. No, I'm super curious about that. Do you think you can give us like a little rundown of a little sneak peek, if you will, about what the panel's going to be about?
I'll be honest. I think it's just going to be talking about our experiences, like being a woman in the industry. I'm not too sure. All I know is I'm supposed to play Fall Guys, and I haven't touched the game. So that's going to be fun. I don't have hands, so that's also going to be fun.
Fall Guys.
Against popular belief, don't fall. You'll have a bad
time. Got it.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
They make it sound like you're supposed to, but
the devs are tricking you.
Good to know.
Why didn't they call it stand
and run, guys?
You're stretching, man. I saw what you were going for.
What I've been wondering.
I did. I wanted to love it.
What I'm wondering is, why didn't they call it stand, guys?
Yeah. They could have called it not Fall Guys.
Like, they just named something in one of their maps, like the Big Chungus.
Is it like Thick Bonkus or whatever?
Oh, yeah. Chungus or whatever. That's the hammer, right?
Really lost me on that one. I'm not gonna lie.
There's one called,
don't worry about it.
I think there's one called the Big Yeetus. And
that's
there's
what it is.
There's one called the Thick Bonkus.
I think so, yeah.
It's just
wow.
For some reason, Big Yeetus is less offensive to me. I don't know why, but
it's because there's only one youth slang. Meanwhile, the other one has 2.
Yeah, maybe because it was funny the first time, and then the second time it was like, all right.
I'm surprised there's no Fall Guys events here. That game all kind of blew up, and then Among Us blew up, and
dude, yeah, Among Us. Out of it. So the craziest thing ever. I looked at the play stats for Among Us because I was curious. These guys had like 50 monthly users.
Yeah.
For year and a half.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that game's been out for a while.
Yeah, so it was like 50, 50, 50. Oh, 1,000. Oh, we kind of 1,000. That's big. All right, 1,500, 2,000. Ooh, 2,000. Oh, 6,000. The next day, freaking like 75,000. The next month, 250,000. It was like, guys, like,
yeah, they're like, we need more money for the servers, guys. I don't know what to tell.
Like they literally canceled Among Us too because of the popularity of the film.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, people were talking about that. I think that's such a good choice.
Yeah.
I think the one who streamed it first, Soda Poppin', right? He was the one who streamed it, and then it blew up after that.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was him. That's crazy.
Who's making more money off Among Us? Is it the developers or is it Disguised Toast?
It's Disguised Toast. I'll tell you the answer right now.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Disguised Toast and PewDiePie are definitely making the most money on that game.
Yeah, well, like you even have like Moist Critical hopping in there. Like these guys are huge.
It is entertaining content. It's like the
yeah.
perfect storm for these big personalities online to just get together and be funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, and especially like the amount of crossover that you've been seeing with it, like it really is the perfect storm because not only can they all stream it with a unique perspective, because it's a secret, right? And they have big parts of the game where they only talk to their audience, but then you also have the parts where they come together.
Perfect.
Like it's genius. It works out just right, man. And like I said, I think the choice to cancel Among Us 2 to focus on the Among Us 1 and focus on the player base that they have now, instead of trying to bring that player base over to a new game, is such a just like the best choice they could have made. And I don't
they're gonna have to like rip up some code though, for sure.
Hey man,
I think switch some things around and
dude,
a little
for
bit.
like a peak of 500,000 players, like I think they're more than willing to finesse the code. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Someone in chat said that there was this mod. There's this mod in Counter-Strike and Gary's mod and all these games called Trouble in Terrorist Town.
Oh,
and
I love TTT.
It's really just Among Us. Like they made it into a game.
But I mean, even before that, it's Mafia, it's Werewolf, right? It's just a social game put online.
Yeah. And I think the big thing with Among Us, is you have the ability for all of these streamers to play it together, and it has that interactivity with it. You know what I mean? So I think it just takes that concept and puts it, modernizes it for the internet age.
Pretty much, yeah.
Is Among Us an esport?
No.
God,
no.
Will there be the best liar in the world?
There's no how are you supposed to
you
work?
read the room. That's what it is. You
just like, how do you quantify? Yeah, it's even like person based.
It's like social intelligence, basically.
I think games of Among Us where you have to lie about one thing, and games of Among Us where you have to lie about another thing, just based on who's playing with you. And like like playing with people who know how to play the game is also a lot different than playing with people who don't know how to play the game very well. And
when's the Zeke Nurse Among Us crossover stream happening?
I've had the pleasure of playing with Noah before. It's great.
Oh, I dumpstered these kids. That's all.
It was good. It was real good.
Then on Zeke's stream, I felt so bad for this one guy, but he hadn't played that much, and he got imposter. And he was trying to like fake a task in admin, but went to the wrong side of the table. So I instantly knew that it was him.
The best part is like when in the meeting when we were having the discussion, he was explaining all that stuff, and Noah was like, "Yeah, you were standing on the wrong side of the table, though, bud." And everyone went, "Ooh, we're voting for him." All right, we're done.
I was like, "No, I wasn't." Like.
My favorite Among Us moments are when you accuse someone and then they just start laughing and they just go, "No, you're the imposter."
Or, dude, this guy I was playing with was Zeke, where I was like, "Where were you?" Because I was an admin, I didn't see you. Or because he said he was an admin. I was like, "No, you weren't. I was there and I didn't see you." And he was like, "Oh, maybe that was last round." And it wasn't him. He was just he just didn't keep track of anything.
Lost track,
so
it happens.
It's like
so let's see. We got through a lot of topics real fast. That's all I'm gonna say. I wanted to talk a bit about Genshin though, because this game has been blowing up. I know it's not a competitive game, but I feel like every single person I've talked to lately.
Wait, is that like the waifu gacha?
I've
Breath
never
of the
played
Wild?
it. Yeah,
like
like,
waifu
I-
Yeah,
gacha,
gotcha. Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
Breath-
Oh,
yeah.
why don't I can just look at the girls' screenshots. Why do I need the game?
Because it has real gameplay. It's crazy. It's the first
don't
gacha
play-
game to ever have gameplay.
Whack.
fun? Like, what is it?
It's like Breath of the Wild, but a free-to-play
Waifus.
game.
So
I
you
saw
know what a
it-
gacha
And
is,
it's
right?
anime girls.
Yeah, I know it got you. I saw that you could
Yeah.
play it on your phone, and that really turned me off of it
You just
immediately.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
What a gacha
So
is,
basically,
because I intuitively understand what it is, but I don't know if I could put it into words other than
it's gambling.
It
It's
is
gamble for
well,
characters,
it's
yes.
Yeah,
like think of it like the
Gambling.
think of it
It's hidden as content. Like,
well yeah, but
Go
like
ahead,
think of
Tina.
it those little oh god, I don't remember the name, but you know like those like machines where you get calls or outside of like arcades and stuff where you drop in 25 cents and you turn it and you get like a free thing. It's just that. It's just that,
It's
but
that, yeah.
video games and
anime girls.
Yeah.
PNGs of anime.
Yeah, but
waifus.
anime girls with
Yeah, just-
PNGs. Like, I do my PNGs.
Give me that hot PNG.
Mm.
Yeah,
No,
I
the
tried playing
game's
it.
great.
I tried playing it last week, and I tried to do it on a controller, and it didn't make any sense in my brain. So I stopped playing it. So I think we're gonna switch to the keyboard after this. Do you play
Yeah.
with keyboard?
Yeah, it doesn't have good controller support on desktop yet, but only on mobile.
And also, it's not the same controls as Breath of the Wild, so my brain is
No.
like triple cross-wired.
Yeah,
playing it.
yeah.
Man,
They're doing a next like really big update that's supposed to add like full controller and like remapping support and all that stuff for PC. So
Yeah, because it doesn't have the remapping.
Fancy.
Gotcha games have been getting so popular.
I mean, they make the most money out of anything on planet Earth, so it
I-
makes
it's-
sense.
It's the free dopamine hit.
I just
guess.
don't get it, man. I don't get it. I just I really don't. Like,
You
it-
played
it-
Yu-Gi-Oh! It's the same thing. What do you mean?
yeah, but I get to keep the card. Like, I have a card.
I get to keep it. I get to keep the
You get to
JPEG.
keep your
What do you mean, dude?
PNG, sure.
You can
Like,
screenshot the anime girl PNG.
Like-
That's keeping it.
but like, you don't like. You know what I mean? Like, I could just.
No, I get you. Yeah.
One thing that
No,
I
it's-
find
it's
pretty
no
cool
different-
about the
oh,
game
go ahead.
is the elemental combinations.
Yes.
So like if you're a fire attacker, you'd set something on fire, and then you can switch to like a wind, and it would kind of boost the fire.
Yeah,
which-
that's like the whole
that's-
mechanic of a game.
That's a cool mechanic.
Oh, that's really
We-
cool.
Mhm.
They do that kind of stuff in
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, but it's not like a main gameplay like
No.
damage type
Mhm.
you know
It's
mechanic.
convenience if
Oh,
it happens. It
You
happens.
want to hear? You want to hear a fun story about something like that?
I would ner-
That was
you don't
like.
even understand how much I would love to hear a fun story right now.
That was like.
I would love that.
So I used to be a comp sci major at the U of A, and I was doing their game design program.
I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, I'm not anymore. There's a reason for that. But the game we were making, the main like gimmick that we wanted to have was that elemental combinations made a difference. So like the idea was like you would punch people with different like elemental gloves, right? That did different things. Like you had a fire glove, so you had like a fire punch, or like you had like a wind glove, so you did like a wind punch. But then the gimmick was you could clap them together, and it would make like
That's cool. I like that.
it would make like a combo of those two elements. So like if you did the fire and the wind one, it would like whoosh the fire like big, or like there was like a sand element, and if you did it with the fire one, you would have like a glass clap, where like
You know,
the
I can
fight.
see an anime. I can see this Naruto fight happening in my head.
It was really cool, and unfortunately, we weren't able to fully realize it because we found out after we had our design that we were forced to code the game in Game Maker
Ew.
or RPG Maker MV, which is even worse.
Ew. Oh,
And
oh
so
God.
we
Ew.
weren't able to do everything we wanted to do as far as that went.
Jeez.
Did you study comp sci as well?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I did a biology major, predominantly kind of like physiology, a lot of science, philosophy.
Oh.
That's
And
it.
now I make funny tweets about video games for a living. So
Yeah, I was just trying to connect the dots there.
yeah, I mean it was kind of weird because I was definitely that sort of kid who was like very much like, oh, I'm going to go into medicine or grad school or do research and stuff like that. And I kind of stumbled into esports, and it was for me for a long time because I started when I was still in school. I started halfway through my third year working at G2, and my thought was always, well, I'll do this for fun, and then if things don't work, and then once things don't work out, I'll just go back to school and it's fine. Well, yeah, that went well, evidently.
Yeah.
But it's definitely interesting because I'm not sure how many people have seen that discourse, but like you don't need a degree to get into esports. When it's like, I mean, no, you don't. But I think there's something that people are missing where there is something valuable in education, and there's something valuable in having the ability. Like, yes, you have that back, you have that kind of safety net if things fall apart, as things in esports often do because it's esports. But it's also when you are in school and you take the time to learn, you learn discipline, you learn how to think, you learn problem solving, you learn how to socialize properly, which I think is inevitably a failure of all my classes because you don't learn how to socialize with people IRL. But yeah, I think
everyone's pumping fists here.
But I think that is like a part where it's like, yeah, you don't need, like, I'll tell anyone here, you don't need a degree to get into esports. But once you're in esports, what are you going to do if you don't have, for example, background in data analysis, or if you don't understand stats, or you don't, or you see something like a tweet, or you see like a journal article, and you can't understand the intricacies that might be necessary in terms of like maybe it's a critique of your work. You need to understand it and stuff like that. And so there is value in education, kids.
Yeah, it gives
even
you
if you want to play video games for a living. So
a lot
stay
of
in school.
translatable skills for sure.
And like if you want to be a sports psychologist, you quite literally do need an education.
Literally, yeah.
I mean, even what Zeke was saying, way earlier in the stream, being a streamer, you have to pay attention to things like trends or social media, and social media is a whole beast in itself, right? If you want to run your own social media, it's not just posting a thing here or there, it's being consistent, having schedules, having things planned for events, or like for the Steve announcement, you got to engage that audience, and then seeing the trends in that, blah 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 blah. And maybe you don't notice that stuff, or maybe you don't know how to approach that stuff if you haven't had to do a stupid project in school.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just before this podcast, for example, because this is my kind of first step into esports realm too, and just like you, Tina, kind of stumbling into it, kind of stumbling through it. But let's say I needed to come up with a description for this podcast. Okay, well, it's 150 words. Would I have been able to come up with 150 words in the 20 minutes before the podcast if I hadn't written a 12,000 word paper on whatever subject? Maybe not. Maybe it would take me a lot longer. So it's true. Education gives you a lot of things that you may not be aware of that could help you not just get a job, but kind of push forward what you're passionate about,
Please stay in school. Dear God, please stay in school.
Yes, please.
Have
someone who does not have a degree, please stay in school. It helps.
Have you guys seen the fake nurse account?
Those are great.
I'm convinced that's just you.
I thought that was your account. Wait, I thought that was you.
No, it's not me.
Sometimes
I have to clear the air on this. Because people think it's me.
I thought it was
not.
you.
So there's a fake nurse account called Brain of Nurse, and it's not me. A lot of people came to me and was like, "Is this just you?" Because I guess that's on brand for me to just parody myself. But but it's not me. And the second thing is I have no idea who it is. Like actually no idea who it is.
Really?
Yeah.
That's almost dangerous.
I'm scared of that. It has to be someone who was at my stream a lot, because they're like too good at it that that they wouldn't be able to just like pick it out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But
at least hopefully.
What's your biggest fan?
Is it Zegan? Yeah, Gauss has the same idea as me.
Yeah, that's who I thought it was originally too, but I don't think it is. But they have some really funny tweets.
They have some bangers, to be fair. Yeah,
you gotta hire a PI or something.
I gotta shout him out for my favorite one, because this made me and my girlfriend laugh really hard. And this tweet got over 100 likes. So that means over 100 people know that I'm just a gym. But it says, I handed 250 to the gym bus driver as I headed towards the freshest seat on the bus. A few chumps made some wisecracks about my purple jean pants and jacket ensemble, but I ain't sweating it. They ride the bus out of necessity. I ride the bus because I'm a man of the people.
I remember reading that one. That specifically, that last line
funny.
is so funny.
And it sounds like the reason it's funny is because it sounds like something I would say. Just
I like
out of context.
I like the rap lyrics that they were coming up with.
Oh man,
Oh, I forgot about that.
they're just like they cross the line of like it's so bad it's good.
I mean, respect to whoever's running it though, because they clearly have like a reverence or respect for you as a person too, because it doesn't get mean. At least I don't think it gets
It doesn't get mean.
It kind of does. Here's the thing. People know.
He was admiring my sick ding dong reads over my shoulder when he propositioned me.
Yeah, you don't want to read that one out loud. That's it goes to a spot you probably don't want to be a part of.
Don't read any more of them out loud.
But yeah, we're done with that. Like people know that I'm a good sport.
Everyone unfollow that page right now. Unfollow it and report.
People know that I'm a good sport about stuff like that, right? Like someone wouldn't make that account if they weren't positive that I would take it well. You know what I mean? Like, because there's definitely like, and I don't want to say like I'm nice or anything because I like the account, but like, there's certain types of people who just, wouldn't enjoy that sort of thing or wouldn't find it funny. Like even some of you guys might not like something like that, which I don't want to like say is it like it's not a bad thing. It's just like a personality trait that some people like that sort of thing. Some people don't.
Yeah, I have thought about it. Just because sometimes it is like very strange. Macklemore is the header of.
That's the second funniest tweet they have. It said, "In case you're wondering, yes, I do consider myself the Macklemore of the Smash community." It's so funny.
I was thinking if someone did that for myself, I would have the same kind of feeling of, right, this is funny, it's fun, I'm a good sport about it. But maybe I'm having an off day and I see one. Oh, I don't know. I would recommend to the population at large, don't make parody accounts of people you know in real life.
I can happily attest to this because when I was still in Hearthstone, I made like those quote sort of memes. I made one for Hearthstone Esports, and I'm pretty sure on that account I had like 5 or 6 pro players block that account. Not me, because they didn't know I was running it, but they did block it. So it worked in terms of like attention and all of that. But like, do be careful. Like, know your niche and know your.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like,
I don't feel regrets. I'm just saying, but like, do know your niche and your audience. If that's something that would.
I don't think there's a lot of other people that would take it very well. And there's also not a lot of other people that are as easy to parody as I am. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I say a lot of, like, there's a lot of nurse-isms, as people call them, where, they're things that, and if, you say them, or, if I say them, that's something I say, or that's something I would do. Like, I have a very identifiable personality, especially what I put out on social media and I put out at events. It's kind of an exaggeration of myself. So, people know that, and people know that I'm a good sport about it. People know that, you can make fun of me and it's in good fun. Like, if someone makes fun of me for doing something, or someone is like, "Oh, Nurse does this and he's crazy," like, the people know it's a joke.
Yeah.
And I know it's a joke, right? And so that's why it's okay. And that's why it's never like a personal thing. Like, if that account was like, "I'm Nurse, I say stupid stuff and I dress like an idiot," like, I don't care. Like, everyone knows it's a bit, right? And everyone knows it's not personal. And the way I present myself is not, all the time exactly as I am either. So, I think anyone who interacts with me or talks to me or likes to poke fun at or whatever, like, I'm never going to take it personally. And I know it's a bit.
Social media is one of those things that can be misconstrued in 10 different ways all at the same time too, right?
Mm.
Like maybe if someone was new to the scene, they might think that is like a bullying account, and they're like, I don't know about that, right?
Yeah.
Like I've definitely seen it in high school where people would make anonymous accounts and use it for very bad things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's high school.
That you pointed that
That's
out.
just high school, yeah.
It's kind of expected at this point, unfortunately.
There was a conversation kind of going on Twitter the other day about a famous games journalist, Jason Schreier. He was doing like a huge amount of blocks, and he actually blocked one of our planned guests, Steve, because he was just blocking a bunch of haters who were commenting mean-hearted things on social media, and a lot of people were giving him flack because he's a journalist. And so I've gotten this a lot because I studied journalism for a bit and was a journalist for a while. They're like, well, he's a journalist, he should be open to conversation, he should be open to criticism, he should be objective and all this stuff. But that screen, and I think this is especially true for like Wi-Fi tournaments now, you kind of see this in Smash GG chats, people forget that like that's just another person kind of like you, who they love games, they want to play a game, they want to have a good time, and just because there's a screen there doesn't mean that someone's not having a bad time.
So I have a theory about this. I want to talk about my theory about this.
Let's hear it.
So
brain mode. This is the brain mode segment of the podcast.
I don't know if this is going to be as deep as you want it to be, but so as we know, people who play on Wi-Fi, people who
correction, real quick. Steve actually blocked Jason Schreier, the journalist. First. That's just a correction.
Oh, okay.
So people who play the game on Wi-Fi kind of like come into the scene playing the game on Wi-Fi typically play pretty lame. I think we can all.
I'm on board with this.
We can all agree with this, right?
The cheese is.
And so I've seen this being thrown around, and I think the reason that they are able to play so lame is because they learn the game without someone sitting next to them. And that threat of just despise and social hate was not there while they were learning the game, because you didn't have to sit beside the person that hated you.
Yeah.
And so now we have this new generation of heartless smashers that will run the clock forever.
Heartless smashers.
That's a trend.
There was no threat sitting across the table.
But like that is I think the problem with social media in general, right? Like I'm doing T1 and bluntly we didn't go to Worlds. And oh boy, the stuff I saw for 2 weeks straight was not great, right? And it is ultimately it is that feeling of safety and anonymity. And these people are coming there and they're spouting vile stuff.
Yeah.
I'm paid to look at it. I don't have to respond to it, but I'm stuck paid to look at it. Like this is what I have to see.
You have to engage with that, whereas someone on their personal account could just say, "Nah, I'm out."
Yeah, block, right? Really but it is that thing where it's very easy for people to say that shit, right? It is easy for people to say that garbage.
No consequence.
And no consequence, right? But yeah, like, I'm not gonna pretend like I see people complain like, "Oh, I'm really upset when I see people in my mentions complaining and giving the teams advice." It's like, well, okay, grow up. That's fine. Like that's your job. Look at it. You don't let it get. Like I think that's the line where it's like if it doesn't get to them, if they're just sending that stuff because there's that screen, you can't let it get to you. But I get it. It hurts because it's going to hurt. But
the screen's that weird barrier where it's like things can pass through it, but you can't block it out like a screen.
I think a good standard that I like to hold myself to, and even sometimes it's a struggle, but I think a lot of people, and I imagine you guys also try to do this, but is don't whether it be Facebook, Twitter, whatever, like don't say something online that you wouldn't say to someone's face. You know what I mean? Like, and I think anyone here knows, like anytime you've talked to me online, you know I say it to your face. Like even if it's mean, I'd probably say it to your face. Like, and I think like if you're spouting stuff like that, like just what's wrong with you, man? Like, especially just like hiding behind the screen. Like, it's this weird power trip people have, and so I think
that's a good point. Is like when you get hate on a screen too, you should think of it as this guy thinks he's so tough right now, and he's sitting on the other side of his computer. He doesn't even understand how inoffensive it is. You know?
Yeah, man.
It's just like I adopted. Like if you're the type of guy who's typing, you know, slurs and stuff at me because I killed you in a video game, maybe you're not as tough as you might want to sound, right?
Yeah.
Please go outside.
Yeah.
I just like. I mean,
not
like I
now,
said,
but
Go call your mom.
Yeah.
Live with your mom, and you know, get.
No,
if
my
you wouldn't say it
favorite
to
thing to
someone's
do.
face,
Oh, God.
or you would be nervous to say it to someone's face, like just don't say it. Like you can keep it. You can say it to yourself. Like if you really want to flame someone, just be like, this guy's whatever. Like that's fine. Like and honestly, to a degree, that's normal if you're just having a rough day.
Yeah, if you're passionate.
But like,
you're fired up.
You don't need to be, you know, big tough guy, and you don't need to like. Who are you showing off for? Like
And
you
most
just look
times,
like a dick.
when you kind of put off that toxicity, you're also ignoring the fact that maybe you messed up, and then you just don't get better. So, message to all the toxic gamers out there: shut up.
Well, dude, there's people who are like this. I have a high story. I have so many stories, man. I'm just like,
I have a thing when I play Smash Online that it gets me very angry, because online Smash is, you know, complete garbage at most times.
I'm right there with you.
But when I went to events and played and was in that environment, when I got whooped, you know, like
you don't get as mad. Yeah.
I'm not mad like at all. I'm like actually very thankful that this person sat down and had a good time with me, and we got that connection, you know, as little as it was. And it's the exact same thing as the communication. Why am I mad, you know, behind the screen if I wouldn't be mad sitting beside them? It's a weird.
I can tell you why.
Weird vibe.
yeah.
I can tell you exactly why.
Tell me why. Zeke.
Because there's something that you can blame that isn't yourself, and that's the connection or the latency or whatever, however you want to address it. That like the environment that you're in, you can direct all of your like anger at that. But when it's just you sitting next to that guy, most people don't want to waste time being angry at themselves and are better at dealing with that. But if they have something that they can direct the anger at, it's easier to just throw it because there's no consequence. Especially when it's something like, "Ooh, Smash Online sucks." You can just scream it into the abyss as much as you want, and people will echo it back to you too.
Do you coach a lot of people to think that way, or change their thinking on being frustrated at something that they had control of? Let's say.
Yeah, no, the biggest thing I always tell people is like the biggest skill that people have to learn how to do. And I mean, I've had Noah will know this. He'll remember this is one of the first things I teach everybody. You got to be able to shake someone's hand and go, "Good games, dude. Do you have any advice for me?" And if you can't do that, you'll never succeed because you're not willing to admit that you failed and that you don't know everything. And that's hard. Everyone has to learn that like there's more than one perspective and that you can't just make excuses or blame things. That sometimes you have to sit down and look in the mirror and be like, I messed up. And it's hard. Self-reflection's hard.
That's some good life advice in general.
A little bit too, like from the perspective of someone who plays at a higher level. You know, knowing why you lost is a big part of improving, and if it's always not you, like you're just wrong. You know what I mean? And so, like people will see me, and obviously I'm very vocal. For example, about hating Zero Suit Samus. And be like, "Oh, I lost because of Zero Suit Samus," and I'll say that, whatever. And
that's the one case where it's true, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I'll say that, and that's what I put out, right? But when I go home to practice and play, you know, I don't go home and not practice versus Zero Suit Samus because Zero Suit's dumb, right? Like that's not the idea. The idea is I lost because I wasn't able to deal with it, and even though it's stupid, which it is. I have to be able to deal with it. I have to play around it because, you know, it's inevitable. And so, you know, like a lot of people get caught in this kind of two extremes where either it's dumb and not my fault at all, or nothing is dumb and I just need to improve at all times. And like, there's a middle ground where it can be dumb, but also you can realize that you just have to deal with dumb stuff. You know what I mean? And so when you're able to be frustrated because, you know, losing is frustrating or sad or whatever, but then also realize what went wrong and improve upon yourself because of what went wrong, despite it being frustrating, it makes beating it all the more satisfying.
Yep.
And it helps you get better, right? And so I think a lot of people don't realize that I do that or that other players do that, because all they see is me post on Twitter, this was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And and I'm not lying, that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but it doesn't end with the tweet. It doesn't end there. People just don't want to see me tweet, all right, back on the grind to see if I can finesse zero suit this way. It's boring.
Mm-hmm. Let me drop a little knowledge on you. This is from Taoism. Okay. The oak tree stands firm and strong, and when the wind blows and the storm comes, it is firm. It's firm. It's firm. But then when it gets uprooted, it's gone. But the bamboo bends with the wind. What I'm trying to say is what
I got it.
You guys getting that?
Coming at you.
I don't know if you guys were. I don't know if you guys were.
I was on board
by
with
my
that.
performance, or if you guys were looking at me with blank eyes. I couldn't discern the difference.
The importance of flexibility and adaptability.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tina, do you find the same kind of thing when you try something on socials and it doesn't hit? Like, how do you respond? Maybe in a more technical, professional way, with not performing or getting bad results with something like that.
So it's not only just kind of like, it is that balance, because I think any social media manager will know, like, they'll get a reply like, this post sucks, you don't know what you're doing. I'm pretty sure I got a reply once that's like, this admin doesn't even know how to speak English, and I'm like, okay, thank you for sharing. Stuff like that. Like, I have gotten stuff.
Sharing.
I have gotten stuff that were straight up like, especially at T1 and sometimes at G2, like, fire this person. Like, fire the social media manager. They don't know what they're doing. Or usually it's he, because, and stuff like that, where it's like, I'll have people literally in the replies to some of my stuff just, like, try to, like, fix it for me. And it's like, you can hire me instead, CEO. And it's stuff like that. And you're used to that. But the important thing is you have to recognize, like, people are angry. People do get angry. But people are angry for a reason. And in the end, it is your job to figure out why they're angry, because it's not like they're angry because they hate you specifically. They're angry because something is wrong. Mm-hmm. And while it's not always justified, like, I used to get a lot for, like, posting funny, like, banter tweets at T1. They're like, you're disrespectful. It's like, okay. But it is that sort of thing. Like, you need to figure out why they're upset. Like, they are upset, and they're upset for a reason. You can take that and separate that and work from there, instead of just, like, being like, well, they're just mad, the haters. It's just the haters. And that's not a healthy way of doing it. Because if you are playing for an audience, if you are doing work for an audience, if your audience doesn't like it, you've made a mistake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Man, that's hard, because that's completely different from how I would deal with it. Like, you must have a super strong mental, state to
I make fun
kind of do things
right?
that way. Because the imposter syndrome I would have if someone just told me that I should be fired. Oh my God.
But, like, in any sort of performance,
that's props to you.
Which all of us kind of do, you do have to take stuff on the chin. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
And I think, especially with stuff like social media, and overwhelmingly in commentary, like, you see people getting mad at you all the time, right? Like, or you see people who, they have concerns, and they have legitimate concerns, but they're terrible at providing them constructively. You know what I mean? Like, if someone doesn't like something that I do, I want to know how to fix it, not just you telling me I should, like, burn in hell. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And that's rare to get that kind of criticism. So a lot of the time it's on you to self-reflect on what you think you could have done better. And I think part of it as well, and what I said about taking it on the chin, is realizing that you can't please everyone. Right? Mm-hmm. The most you can do is please over 50% of people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is
that's
the most you can do.
That's a good margin of error to have.
Because, like, some people just have different tastes, and it has nothing to do with whether what you're doing is good or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like a matter
with what you do is good or not. It has to do what they personally like. And so, sometimes on my commentary, like I said, I like to, throw in frame data and stuff like that. Because I play the game, I have a really intricate knowledge of what characters do, how fast it is, how safe it is, whatever. And that's kind of like on brand for me. And a lot of commentators don't do that sort of thing. And so I get a lot of people who really appreciate my commentary for that. They're like, wow, I really love that you took the time to go over what they were thinking, because now I get it. And, I'm glad you told me kind of, why some of these things were more effective or less effective. Right?
Yeah.
But there's some people who don't like that. And they're like, this guy's so boring. This guy's unfunny. Like this guy, you know what I mean? And so it's impossible to please both groups, really, because you can't do both at the same time. There's no way to drop frame data as a joke. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's -2. Like, it's just like there's no way to do that. So the best you can do, and like I said, I try to meet the needs of multiple demographics, because as people know, like I get loud during events, and that's just because I'm excited, and I do that even if I'm not commentating. Anyone who's been to an event with me can attest that if I'm in the crowd, I'm getting rowdy, and I got punched in the face for that at Genesis. That's another story.
Oh my God.
Really?
Oh God, what?
He did get punched in the face. That really happened.
I got punched in the face at Genesis 6.
Well, you gotta tell a story. Is it appropriate to tell a story?
Sure, I guess. Yeah, I'll leave out.
Just give the shortened version.
Let's do a quick 2-minute.
I'll leave out the bombs. Okay, so when you have the credo of being willing to say things that you would say online to someone's face, you become a little more confrontational in real life.
Some might say.
So we're watching top 8 at the theater. Because they're doing top 8 in a theater for Genesis 6. It's this whole shebang.
Genesis 6 place?
And what's
Oakland.
actually Oakland, yeah. What's actually hilarious about it is I'm sitting with a lot of BC Smash, and then I'm also sitting with Full Stream, who is one of the best Rivals players in the world. So I was broken out with Full Stream at Genesis 6, which is just a completely random anecdote. But we're getting excited for, I think MK Leo was playing against Emsora, whatever.
Oh, shout out to Tina.
Yeah, we're getting excited, we're getting loud, whatever. And some guy comes over and taps me on the shoulder, and I look up, and he's like, hey, Nat, can you shut the F up? And I was like, man, like, we're watching a top 8, like, what? We're getting loud because we're having fun, man. Like, we're just having fun. And he's like, no, shut the F up. Like, can you shut the F up? And I looked at him, like, dead in the eyes, and I was like, no, but you can F off. And then he punched me in the face.
Damn. And not even 20 minutes later, I'm at this event. I'm backstage because I'm coaching people, and I get a text from Nurse, and I'm like, what is going on? We're in the States. Why are you texting me? And I'm like, he goes, I got punched in the face. I'm like, what do you mean you got punched in the face? What did you do? Actually, the best part was I asked him, what did you do? Not, are you okay?
Yeah, no one asked me if I was
What a
okay.
friend you are, man.
Dude.
But you knew because he's like that personality, right?
Yes.
What's so funny is Zeke was not the only one who did that. Zeke, I think the only person that asked if I was okay before they asked what I did was my girlfriend. And then she asked what I did.
Okay.
Oh my God.
That guy was looking to punch you as soon as he walked over, from what it sounds like.
It was crazy. And I had the I don't know if anyone else has been punched in the face or like been in a fight, but you have the most like immediate like rage to like hit them back. And so my reaction was right when it started, like I just stood up and I was like, nope.
I'll do it. Yeah.
But like, what a surreal experience. I never thought I would get punched in the face for cheering for MK Leo.
Only time I've been punched in the face, I told the guy sorry and are we cool after, because I did not want to get him. So I was not very angry. I was like, all right, well, are we good? Like,
did you get it out?
Oh man, that was crazy. What was I even going on about before that?
Dog, it's all a blur. I don't even know.
Don't let people on the internet hurt your
are we
feelings.
live
You're
right
big,
now or
you're bigger
something?
than that.
Oh yeah. When I was on that bit about commentary, the long and short of it is, you can't please everyone, and so you have to know what your core audience is, what you're good at, what you like, and then you have to kind of take in the negative feedback, understand why you're getting a negative response, and then try and better yourself just as a whole, while still
try not
offering.
to get punched in the face as well.
Yeah, while still
all the while
That
try
sounds
not to
bad.
get punched in the face.
while still offering
Not fun.
your kind of brand.
I think we're gonna wrap up in just a few minutes here. Sorry to cut you off, Nurse.
No, that's totally fine.
But I just wanted to thank all you guys so much for joining me and joining our audience for the first episode of AESA Insight. I really am looking forward to more episodes of this. I really want to get way more people on, and I think we're looking at maybe monthly or like every 2 weeks for an episode. So we'll have more updates on that. Other than that, do you guys have fun?
Yeah,
I had a great time with you guys.
Thanks for having us.
I can't wait till events
We
open up
talked
again.
for a few hours, so that's all I can ask for, man.
Yeah, so definitely check these guys out on Twitter. You can follow Nurse at @/nurse. You can follow Tina at ShadowMisstep, and you can follow Zeke at Zeke here. And I don't know if Noah's streaming that much, but Zeke is definitely streaming all the time. So
All the time.
check him out on Twitch.
This guy owes me a Nintendo gift card.
Oh, go away. That's not true. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
I don't know if you saw the transcripts, but it's right there on Twitter.
No,
for everyone.
Oh, no.
Give me for a free gift card. Not gonna happen. No.
All right,
go win the
guys,
giveaway. I'm doing a $50 giveaway right now. You can sign up for it. Anyway, that's all.
Get that money, get that bread. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been the first episode of AESA Insight, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.